I'll give you your money. I'll always take care of you. Child, he said that to his ex-wife, Sugar Ray, Raynoma Gordy Singleton, and sent that bitch to jail.
Hello, black hole. See this brother winning, man. A-R-E. What is it, win, babe? What is it, win, babe?
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky will be our golden camellia flower. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, that's my puppy, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about The Temptations. Deliver Us from Temptation by Tony Turner. The tragic and shocking story of the Temptations and Motown. Child, this finna be a trip. By the 1980s, Barry was still living in his multi-million-dollar Tudor-style Bel Air mansion, surrounded by 10 acres of private land, tons of bodyguards, and a massive security team. Gordy was chairman of the company now, which meant that he often didn't leave the safety of his mansion for months on end. And when he did, it was to sweep into the office and rearrange the staff, demoting and promoting as the fancy took him. In 1983, he presided over Motown's birthday celebration telecast, Motown 25. It was the biggest thing Motown had done in years. And although the show was subtitled Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, it was really about yesterday. Most of the stars who were invited to perform at Motown 25 were only back home for an evening, seemingly happy to pay tribute to the family that had molded them. They, like Motown itself, had been living in a kind of shadow land of yesterday, roaming the world, performing the same old hits that gave us all butterflies once and sometimes still did. I was working as a road manager and jack of all trades for Mary Wilson now that she had left the Supremes and gone out as a solo act with her own fake Supremes background singers. She was now down on her luck. Divorced from her abusive husband and living near LA in the valley with her 4 children, mother and cousin in a tiny 2-bedroom bungalow in Studio City. Suffering from the scars of being a former Supreme, discovered singing old hits and squeezing into old gowns. With bookings so few and far between, working for Mary was more of a hobby for me. Something I'd been doing since I met the Supremes and starting running errands for them. I did it because I loved Mary like a sister and hoped that she would succeed. Besides, it was fun. It was adventure. It was sometimes limos at the curb and first-class hotels. Mary Wells was in even worse shape than Mary Wilson. Having been involved at different times with 2 of the Womack brothers, she was now still living with one of them who not only managed her, but also sang with her. Mary was touring as a nostalgia act with her baby daughter in... Let me give him the nigga. Mary Wells was in even worse shape than Mary Wilson, having been involved at different times with 2 of the Womack brothers. Do you say what? I thought the only person who was able to get away with that was the Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedy brothers. What the hell? She was now still living with one of them who not only managed her, but also sang with her. Mary was touring as a nostalgia act with her baby daughter in tow, taking on just enough work to feed herself and her children, while quietly suffering the physical and mental abuse of her lover. We would see her on the road from time to time, nursing a black eye or bruise. One night in Westbury, Long Island, after an argument about money, Mr. Womack went really crazy. He started by cutting up Murray's Louis Vuitton suitcases. Now, hold on. At first, I was like, Louis Vuitton suitcases. Oh my God, baby, you might want to sell that shit so you can eat. But then on the other hand, one of her only possessions that she still had left over from her heyday with Motown. So I ain't gonna judge it. That's like, for real, that's like somebody on the bus with some Yeezys, okay? Even though for real, the Yeezys might not be real, but you know what I'm saying? He started by cutting up Mary's Louis Vuitton suitcases. Then he threw everything she owned out the window into the parking lot, which had just been covered in fresh, wet, black asphalt. Took her money and left her on the road with her baby. Sugar. I had to go to the local mall the next morning and pick out a dress for her to wear and some cosmetics for that evening's show because she had absolutely nothing. But the fans didn't know. They loved her for who she had been in their lives. And as long as she sang My Guy and Two Lovers, they didn't care that she was now an overweight platinum blonde who's singing for survival. Damn, I just remember her coming out singing. I was like, damn, she still look good. Not knowing everything that was going on behind the scene, child. Martha Reeves was touring alone without any staff or entourage because she was trying to economize. Unlike some ex-Motown stars, she was always realistic. She had trained countless groups of vandellas in cities all around the globe so that she could save money on hotel bills and travel. I know that's right. Yeah, that's financial literacy for your ass. Martha wasn't as caught up in the forever a star syndrome as Mary Wilson, the Supreme. But she was still under the spell of the competitive spirit fostered at Motown. And she was still looking for that nod of acknowledgement from her old boss, Gordy, and would keep on looking until she got it in 1991 when Gordy finally called her to settle a suit she had bought against him because he had allegedly ripped her off on royalties from her 1963 hit, Heatwave. After half a lifetime of bitterness and a 2-year legal battle, all he had to do was call and say, "Hi, Martha. Sorry it went so far. I'll give you your money. I'll always take care of you." Child, he said that to his ex-wife, Sugar Ray, Raynoma Gordy Singleton, and sent that bitch to jail. If y'all haven't looked at our Bury Me in Motown playlist, child, check it out. He sent his second wife, who helped him build the company, to jail, okay, over some bullshit. I'm like, oh, that's a petty nigga. Marvin Gaye, meanwhile, was living in self-imposed exile in Europe. Mary Wilson and I visited Marvin in London one time when we were there on tour because Mary was looking to get herself a recording contract by having Marvin produce an album for her. Okay. You not know Marvin is crazy when you went down there and his ass is around there smoking the cracky over there in Europe. That's when he was at his lowest point, right before when he actually passed and his father had got his ass. Never one to mince words, she spent the whole day talking to a very high Marvin about nothing but this album that she wanted to do with him. And when he played a cassette of some tracks he was working on with Harvey Fuqua, what was to become the Midnight Love album, she insisted on trying to sing along with him. High herself, let me reread this. High herself, she was completely out of key. I couldn't bear it. Look, I'm noticing, Tony Turner, that you don't give everything. You give enough, but you don't give everything, okay? Because you be dropping the little sprinkles here and there. And then sometimes you just put the whole cake on the tape, right? But girl, I need to know what Mary Wilson was high off of. Was it marijuana? Do marijuana make you sing off key? No, that's not it, because Marvin Gaye was high the entire every time. that he was in the studio. So I don't know. What was she? Was it Booger Sugar, y'all? When Murray left to go home to the States, Marvin asked me if I could stay on for a week or so and help him out with a few things. That's when I discovered that Marvin Gaye liked to dress in drag. Who did Murray's hair? Marvin asked me almost as soon as Murray was gone. Do you think you can do my hair like that? We already knew that Marvin liked to dress in feminine wiles because we read that from his book. Okay. We also know that his father had the same propensity to want to dress in women's clothes. Okay. It just made him feel good. Remember that time, y'all, when we read that he had a kimono on and then got on stage and stripped down to his Speedos? We was like, Marvin, what the fuck are you doing, Marvin? What he really liked were the bras, corsets, garter belts, and negligees that he would wear around the apartment with nothing else on top. Later, when Marvin's father shot him dead in 1984 and the whole story of their troubled relationship came out, I discovered that Reverend Gaye was into wigs too. Still, although Marvin looked kind of funny in a wig and a beard, it wasn't the way he dressed that made me think he was weird. It was more the way he would just sit and gaze out of the windows he had in his apartment. Girl, that was high. He was high, girl. One of the only Motown groups that didn't seem to have any scandal or controversy connected to them was the Four Tops. Bullshit the Baker Man. What book did we read when we was like, wait a minute? Most of the groups that came through Motown was Poe, and it took Berry Gordy and Motown to, put that sugar on them. Was it Rick James that was like, I want to know why when the Four Tops got there, they was fried, dyed, and laid to the side. They were already well put together. In fact, there was a innuendo that the Four Tops had some pimping going on before they got to Motown. But then that's not uncommon because it was pimping at Motown. Now I'm finding out it was pimping and drugs at Motown. One of the only Motown groups that didn't seem to have any scandal or controversy connected to them was the Four Tops, who had left the company in 1972 and returned again in 1983. They were still together after 30 years, still sane, still in demand. The Temps, as always, under the firm grip of Otis Williams, who was still insisting that he was their founder and only legitimate spokesperson, had returned to the Motown family in 1980 when they decided that leaving home wasn't such a good idea after all. The way I saw it, that was Otis's way of staying alive. He had to keep the whole Temptations thing under strict control because if it fell apart, he'd have nothing left. Unlike Melvin, whose basso profundo got him quite a bit of session work, Otis didn't have any real voice or name of his own. His claim to fame lies buried in the name The Temptations. Ooh, yikes. So listen, y'all, we know that Melvin was still getting bread because remember, one of my favorite musicals was Little Shop of Horrors. If you remember, it was, the movie version was Tisha Campbell, Tashina. I'm so sorry, baby. I don't remember the other one, but they were so young. And it had, what's the name of the white dude that was there with the big lips? He ended up playing in the Ghostbusters too. But Seymour, but anyway, Audrey too, that's the plant, was Melvin Franklin. And then when I look back at the videos now, like my eyes are so open. Melvin would even step up and have a little part with his voice. But Otis ain't never have a part. Dennis Edwards had come back to the group in 1980 after things didn't work out with his replacement, Louis Price. Otis warned him that they would not tolerate any nonsense. With Dennis back and the nostalgia boom kicking in, Motown decided to engineer a Temptations reunion album and tour in 1982. if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you babies. Have a good one.